So, AI is here. It's in our classrooms. And let's be honest, the response has been, well, a little chaotic, right? But what if there's a better way to handle it? Today, we're going to dive into a framework that gives us a clear path forward, a way to make sure AI works for us, for human learning, and not the other way around.
I mean, you know this moment, right? That feeling in your gut when a student hands something in, or when a new AI tool drops and it feels like the rules change overnight. Again, this isn't some far-off future we're talking about. This is the reality for educators right now, and frankly, it's exhausting. And so far, it seems like most schools have jumped into one of two camps. You've got the threat camp over here, trying to ban everything, running detection software, basically playing whack-a-mole. And then you've got the efficiency camp, who are all in, just embracing it to make everything faster and more optimized. But here's the thing. Both of these approaches, they're missing the point. They're seriously flawed.
So why are they flawed? What's the problem? Well, it's because they both treat education like it's just some kind of logistical problem, something you can manage or optimize like a factory assembly line. But we all know education isn't a factory. It's this deeply, fundamentally human thing, right? It's built on connection, on creativity, on actual growth. And these reactive, black or white policies, they just can't get their arms around that complexity.
So, to find a better way forward, it actually helps to look back. I mean, this isn't the first time some wild new technology has shown up in the classroom. How did we handle it before? Let's think about a really powerful and probably familiar analogy. Okay, remember the whole freakout over calculators in math class? The really smart teachers in schools realized the question wasn't, should we ban calculators? No way. The real question was, what kind of mathematical thinking are we trying to teach here? Sometimes, yeah, that meant putting the calculator away to really build that fundamental number sense. But other times, it meant using the calculator as a tool to tackle much bigger, more complex problems. And that right there, that's the whole point. The tool isn't the point, the learning is. The focus has to be on the goal, not the gadget. And AI? Well, it demands that exact same kind of thinking, just on a way, way bigger scale. So instead of having a million different rules for every new app that pops up, what we really need is a solid set of guiding principles, something that helps us make smart, intentional decisions. And that is exactly what this framework is. It's 8 essential principles for AI in education, and it's designed to cut right through all that noise.
Okay, and what's really cool is how this whole thing is structured. It's broken down into 2 parts, which makes it super easy to follow. First, you have what's called the human core. These are the non-negotiables, the things that have to stay at the absolute center of education, no matter what. And then you have the operational commitments. These are the things that take those big ideas and turn them into actual, practical actions. So let's dig into that foundation first. These first 4 principles are all about defining what makes education, well, human. These are the parts that AI can maybe help with, but can never, ever replace.
Okay, first up, flourishing. And what this means is that education can't just be a checklist of tasks to complete or just training for one specific job. It has to be bigger than that. It's about developing the whole person, cultivating values, meaning, and those durable skills that let someone not just survive, but actually thrive in a future that, let's face it, none of us can predict.
Number 2 is relationships. And we all know this in our bones, right? Real, deep learning happens because of trust, mentorship, dialogue, care, that human connection. Sure, AI can help with some things like quick feedback or organizing a schedule, but that bond between a student and a teacher, that is absolutely sacred. It has to stay foundational.
Third, we have creativity. And this one is so important because there's a huge distinction to make here. See, AI is really good at simulating creativity. It mashes up and recombines all the data it's been fed. But human creativity, that's something else entirely. It comes from our lived experiences, our identity, our messy, beautiful imaginations. And our job as educators is to prioritize that authentic human act of creation. And the 4th pillar of this human core is accessibility. And let's be clear, this can't be an afterthought. It's not just a box to check, it has to be baked in from the very beginning, making sure every single learner can participate in a meaningful way. This is especially crucial now, when so many new AI tools just assume everyone has the newest laptop and lightning-fast internet. Okay, so that's our foundation. That's the human core. Now let's see how we put that into action with the next 4 principles. These are the practical commitments that take those core values and make them real in our classrooms every single day.
All right, first up in our commitments is equity, and this is all about focusing on the outcomes. Because if we're not careful, if we're not intentional, AI can easily just make existing inequalities even worse. It can become a tool that just helps the students who are already ahead get even further ahead. So an equity focus means we have to constantly be asking ourselves, who is really benefiting from this? And just as importantly, who might be getting left behind or even harmed? Next, we have inclusion. Think about it. AI models are trained on these gigantic data sets from the internet, right? And those data sets are soaked in dominant cultural norms, which can accidentally erase or marginalize other perspectives. An inclusive approach actively fights against that. It's about designing learning that affirms and centers all kinds of diverse identities, perspectives, and ways of knowing.
Then there's openness. This one is all about refusing to treat AI like some magical, all-knowing black box. Instead, it's about teaching our students to be critical, to question its output, to verify its claims, and to really understand its limitations. The goal isn't to build dependence on a tool, it's to build critical AI literacy.
And our final commitment is universality. This kind of takes that idea of accessibility and zooms it way out. It pushes us to ask, will this design work for everyone everywhere? Not just in a wealthy school district with the best tech, but for a student on a slow connection, using an older device, or living in a completely different cultural context. So you can start to see how this all clicks together, right? This framework isn't some rigid set of rules you have to memorize. It's more like a new lens, a way of asking better, smarter, more intentional questions about everything we do.
And when you start asking those questions, it changes everything. Instead of a simple policy that just says, no ChatGPT, you start creating guidelines that are actually about protecting human creativity and fostering relationships. Instead of getting an assignment that an AI could spit out in 10 seconds, you design something that actually assesses a student's unique, messy, wonderful thinking process.
And you can start applying this stuff immediately. Just take a look at an assignment you use. Ask yourself, is this really aiming for that deeper goal of flourishing, or is it just about getting a task done?
Think about the tech you bring into your classroom. Is it actually strengthening that crucial student-teacher connection, or is it kind of pushing it off to the side? And this is so important. Ask yourself those tough questions about equity. Who is really benefiting from the way I've designed this, and who might be getting left out? See, asking these kinds of questions is how we stop being reactive and start being principled. Because in this age of constant, dizzying change, maybe holding fast to what makes us human isn't about fighting innovation. Maybe it's the only way innovation has a chance of becoming meaningful at all.